This is my 1975 Datsun 280Z. I picked this up in October of 2019. This is going to be my new project, RestoModZ. Going to be putting a V6 swap in it, and these are some pictures of it the day I picked it up. This is what it looked like after I cleaned the interior out, vacuumed it, got all the trash out of it. In this episode, I'm going to be removing the dashboard and stripping all the sound deadening out of the interior and wire wheeling the interior to bare metal and get ready for stitch welding the chassis. Here I'm using a hammer and a chisel, just kind of breaking loose any of the extra sound deadening. Real long, tedious process. Definitely want to wear protective gear. You want to wear your safety glasses, gloves, respirator. You don't want to be breathing this stuff in. This particular car had this sound deadening soaked with rat feces. As long as we stick at it, consistent work, this job gets done pretty quick. Here I'm showing you the floor is actually rusted through, and I can feel that I was about to fall through. It's so bad. Now I'm doing this because I want to make sure. I can see there's a lot of surface rust on this car. However, I don't know what's hiding underneath this sound deadening. So I'm removing all this sound deadening to make sure that there's no hidden rust underneath.
Yeah, so it started. It's a good thing I was pulling that all out. It looks like it was starting to rust right there a little bit. So some water must have got up under the sound deadening. So I'm gonna cut the this wheel well out. It's got a lot of rust. So there was a rat nest in here. So for probably many years, some rats lived and peed and pooped all up in here, and it's rusted, molded under the. Oh god. Yeah. So it got all up under this undercoating, soaked through the This undercoating is coated. Coated in it, soaked in it, and so it's. I thought I was gonna. Over here, it was nice because the rats weren't nesting over here; they were nesting over here. I found the nest, so I'm gonna cut this out. I was gonna put a stock fuel tank in it, but I think I'm gonna put a fuel cell in it. I got one lying around, so cut this out, put a fuel cell in it, and I'll have to run like a nice filler neck. But I'm cutting all this out because it's soaked and gross and bad. And I also kind of want to go around and seam weld, stitch weld the chassis, kind of strengthen it because this car is going to get a BQ in it. And it's not very powerful, but it's more powerful than stock, and this car is a little weak. So that's what I'm going for. Do some wham wham. Wham wham.
Okay, so now I've switched over to a 4.5 inch angle grinder with some. I got two different wheels. I got a flat wheel and a cup wheel, and I got two different grinders too. Sometimes it's quick for me to just swap over instead of having to swap the discs. I just swap grinders. So I got two grinders, one with a cup wheel, one with a flat wheel to help get into each nook and cranny. Really want to clean all these seams. Like I said, I'm going to stitch weld this chassis. I'm going to seam weld or stitch weld all the seams, spot weld every 1 inch. So I want to make sure all my seams are clean. Now I moved on to the interior. Looks like the trunk's mostly done there. It's kind of like the area behind the driver's seat. Sorry, this passenger seat. Again, taking a hammer and a chisel, and I'm just taking off this thick rubberized sound deadening.
I gotta remove this dashboard. Once I get the floor all cleaned up, I'll probably remove this dash and start doing behind the firewall, but I don't want to do it until the inside's clean. It's pretty gross in here, so finish knocking all this stuff out, and then I'll wire wheel the whole floor, and probably pressure wash it, vacuum, that sort of thing. And then I can start stitch welding as much as, see, there's some little stitch welding right there from the factory, but I'm gonna do the entire car. I'll make it a lot stiffer. Well, that's good that for the most part, under all this undercoating, it's good, but we're pulling it all off just because there could be spots where it's not good. But for the most part it is. It's very good. This car, surprisingly, has very, very little rust. A lot of surface rust here, little cancer in the floor over there, cancer in the wheel well. Other than that, I haven't found any other cancer.
Again, using that cup wheel, make sure we can get in all in those nooks and crannies. And here I'm removing all the seam sealer inside the seams as well. So onto the dashboard removal. Kind of cut a lot of footage out of here. Just showing you the removal, quick process. This car's getting all custom wiring, custom gauges, and custom heater assembly as well. So a lot of this is not necessarily going to be saved. Here I'm taking out my defrost vents. Those will be saved. Definitely going to be putting a heater back in this car. There we go. I got that driver's side defrost vent. Okay, and that's pretty much it. That's the interior stripped out. We're going to pull this heater core assembly out and the heater blower motor. And that's pretty much it for this episode, you guys. Thank you for watching. In the next episode, I'm going to pull the fenders and the hood off and start prepping the engine bay for stitch welding. Thank you.